Yeah, Harvick was just under a tenth quicker that last lap than what Reed Sorensen was. So 2 tires still working really good for him right now.
Check out the speeds at the line this time. Let's see who's fastest. Is it Kevin Harvick with 2 fresh tires? So far, so good for him. Absolutely amazing.
Almost a tenth of a second.
So Harvick, who finished second in the truck race last night, leading now. And here comes Keselowski underneath the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Now this is for 8th on the racetrack. Wimmer is 7th. Keselowski has got the bit between his teeth. He clears Gaughan. This time by 21 laps to go.
Yeah, if we happen to get a caution here in these last 20 laps, this is going to get interesting with Brad Keselowski as fast as that race car is.
He is running identical lap times to our race leader, Kevin Harvick, and Harvick's got clean air. Top of the hour. If you're just tuning in, we're glad you're joining us. We are in the final 21 laps. Kevin Harvick is one of 7 different leaders that we've had. 13 lead changes. His lead right now in that 33 car over Reed Sorensen is 0.7 of a second. But the man that is on a mission is Brad Keselowski. Restarted after a late caution just a number of laps ago in the 18th position. Another one who also is coming back through the field is Joey Logano, but it's taking him a little longer. That was for 12th as he gets around a fading Johnny Sauter.
I think that's what's so impressive about Brad Keselowski. These 2 guys started back at the same place back there, or within a spot of each other, and Keselowski's been able to slice and dice, as you said, Marty, right up through the field.
Logano spent most of the day out front, and Keselowski seems to have been in traffic most of the day and is making the best of it.
And Keselowski now closing in on Michael Annett for 6th position.
Nobody's won more races on concrete in the last 10 than Keselowski.
And no one has scored more points in the last 17 on concrete than Brad Keselowski. And we always refer to Carl Edwards as old Concrete Carl.
I'll tell you, the concrete has a different feel. Not every driver can adapt to it. Not every driver can capitalize on it. He obviously can.
Well, I tell you, and you talked about how important it is to have a car that you can drive here, because if you can't, it doesn't matter how good a driver you are, it's just not going to work.
Well, and part of your responsibility is finding your limits, and he's good at it. Look at this battle. We got 4 cars going here with Logano at the back of it.
And that's for 9th with Brendan Gaughan, 10th with Paul Menard, Trevor Bayne, and then Joey Logano. And Logano is running out of laps, because he has got a lot more traffic, and his lap times are not as good as Brad Keselowski's right now.
You think this car, the 20 car, tightened up, Dale, being that far into traffic?
Yeah, I'd have to say that's not, as you said, Ricky, it's not something that they've encountered much of the day, because they've been out front most of the time, and so your car does different things.
Let's go speeds at the line this time, because Harvick last lap was 31 seconds and Keselowski was quicker again in traffic. So let's see how it shakes out. On down through. Where's Keselowski? Yeah, number 1. Woof.
Yeah, and again, I think he's going to have some help, because he's a little too, he's 4 seconds behind to win this race. But he's made something as he looks at the big picture in the championship. This could have hurt him tremendously in the points today, but he's come back and been able to pick up quite a few spots.
Speaking of the points, last year at this time, the gap between 1st and 3rd was 124 points. Right now, the top 5 are separated by 66. We've got ourselves a great championship battle beginning to take shape here in the 5th race of the 2010 season. And this man, I'm hoping Kevin Harvick stays with the series all year long. He's going to add something to this.
I agree with you. He brings a lot of personality to the series.
There's the top 3, and it would be a tie between Allgaier and Brad Keselowski. And this is the best Dodge has ever run in this series, 2nd and 3rd.
Remarkable.
Yeah, Ricky, you know, in this situation, as fast as Brad's car is, you're sitting there as a driver and you're saying, man, I wish we could have a caution, because I think I could win. But as soon as you do that, you're usually part of the caution, so you're a little bit hesitant.
Joey Logano has just moved back into the top 10, getting around Paul Menard. But he is 7.9 seconds behind. He's got a long way to go. Brad Keselowski is 4 seconds behind in 6th, and the laps are winding down. Next time by, it'll be 14 to go. Kevin Harvick by 0.8 of a second over Reed Sorensen. There is Kyle Busch running 1.2 seconds behind the leader. Let's get more from Dave Burns.
Well, Marty and DJ talked about it. He didn't think that the car was still right for Kyle, and that's part of the equation. But remember, Kyle got 4 tires. Kevin Harvick only got 2. Now, Kevin has that clean air out there. But remember what Kyle said earlier about Kevin's car, just how much better it was. Well, that's what Kyle's been fighting all day, and now Sorensen's car is better too. Kyle Busch will not be able to catch them at the end of this race.
The gap, as we said, between first and third, 1.2 seconds. There you see them as they go by.
Sorensen just beat the leader by 1/10 of a second, though. He closed that gap back to just 7/10.
A little bit further back, there's Justin Allgaier and Carl Edwards. That's your top 5 running through your screen. Here is a battle for 7th place. Wimmer getting around Annett. So move Scott Wimmer back into 7th with the number 7. And Michael Annett drops back to 8th.
Yeah, 2 guys that really needed a good run here today. Both of them done a really good job running in the top 10 and top 5 part of the day.
And they've raced a very, very smart race.
That's the gap back to your race leader, Kevin Harvick. Let's get an update on his situation. Vince Welch.
Well, it's interesting as we listen to Dave Burns' report about the 4 tires choice by Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick, of course, chose to just take the 2 right side tires, and after the stop, he conferred with crew chief Ernie Cope about that decision, and they both agreed that they thought that was the right move to make, that the tires on the left side have not dropped off that much. They've held up good. The wear has been good on those good years. They thought for sure they had made the right call, thinking that Keselowski was going to be too far deep in the pack to be able to charge his way back up toward the front. So far, he's holding true.
I got to tell you, to me, it was a gutsy call because we saw nobody try that as an experiment early in the race.
Yeah, the only thing that you could think with those guys is how good their car's been on long runs. And generally, Ricky, whenever you have a car that's good on long runs, you're not wearing out that left front tire.
That's what I was thinking. And the fact that the left side tires probably weren't wearing that much. And the driver doesn't know that. He might feel it, but he doesn't know that until they report it to him.
The lead is 0.6 seconds. 0.6 of a second between first and second. There it is in your screen. 3rd place, a little bit further back, is Kyle Busch. And next time by, 9 laps to go. Brad Keselowski, he is still running laps quicker than the leader, but he just not quick enough.
And what's really occupying my mind here is that Sorensen has closed the gap a little more, and he separated himself from Kyle Busch. And here comes Brad Keselowski.
And there is Brad. He is winding in that group that includes Carl Edwards, his next target, at 5th. How about a little tip of the hat to this team, Reed Sorensen and the Braun Racing crew. And Jamie, what's the latest from their camp?
Well, Reed Sorensen and this team definitely has extra incentive to get to victory lane today. You know, it's Autism Awareness Month, and Dollar General has joined forces with Autism Speaks. Now, you see the crew chief, Trent Owens, there on the right-hand side of your screen. His little boy is 2 years old. He was diagnosed with autism last year. Now, Dollar General has told this team if they make it to victory lane today, they will give $50,000 to autism. So an extra effort this team is trying to put in to get to victory lane today.
They are 0.6 of a second away from 50 grand.
He closed in more right now. That deficit's going to be even less when they cross the line right here.
Well, he got awfully close and a little loose to that wall coming out of 4. And there is the gap between first and second, and it's down to half a second. So we may have a shootout yet. 7 laps remaining if Reed Sorensen can reel him in.
He'd just love to get to that back bumper. Maybe not to even hit him, but just to loosen Kevin Harvick up a little bit with just those 2 tires.
All right, let's try speeds at the line one more time. Oh, man, Sorensen driving the wheels off this thing. He is hanging it out.
That's an example of this racetrack tempting you. Give me a little more. You left something on the table, and you go after it, you lose the whole car in the middle of the corner.
Kyle Busch. Brad Keselowski again. But again, Keselowski is 2.9 seconds back. He has been driving a great comeback, but he's just not going to have enough laps. 6 to go now, and there's the gap between first and second, and it's just up over a half a second. Battle for 8th is Joey Logano going around Michael Annett and clears him.
Well, we haven't talked about it all day, but we've had a lot of green-white checkers this year.
Never had one here, though, in Nashville. So, of course, that's probably the kiss of death. But with now 5 laps remaining, Joey Logano has moved into the 8th position.
Reed Sorensen's closed in even more on Kevin Harvick. Harvick had he caught traffic at a wrong place and slowed him down a little bit the last lap.
That's Joe Nemechek, and boy, look at this. It's really tightening up a little bit further back. There is Brad Keselowski trying to catch Carl Edwards at the same time.